bastards. You're about to listen to another episode of Very Late with Blackbrainz and Sadgodzuki. Get ready for uninformed opinions about video games, hood politics, and rambling tangents. If you allow.
And we back, young Zukavelli. How you doing, man?
Doing good. Can't complain. How you doing?
I'm good. I've been busy between like getting set up for the move and streaming and shit. Like, yeah, it's been busy. I'm wrapping up on my old job, getting ready for new adventures, man. So very excited. What about you?
That must be inside it. Just chilling. Can't complain.
Hell yeah. Yeah, it is. It is, honestly. Like I'm kind of a little worried about what's on the horizon, but I'm also excited to just get a move on, you know?
I heard that. I don't blame you. But like,
Yeah.
it's just getting new stuff together. The only bad part about moving is packing though. That shit sucks. I ain't gonna lie.
Okay, I'm the kind of weird ass dude where I packed most of my stuff months ago. I just like getting stuff done. You know, I just knew like, okay, I might as well get it all out of the way.
Prepacker, huh? He said, hey, I put all the hard stuff away.
Yeah, pretty
you.
well. Yeah, and then like, I'm probably gonna toss most of my furniture. You know how it is. But enough about moving boxes. That's not why the people are here. We have a very special guest. Very excited to have him here today.
Yeah,
the
boy.
Wonderful That Creepy Reading, one of my favorite YouTubers. Very happy to have you here. Thanks so much for joining us, TCR.
Absolutely, no problem. No problem at all. Happy to be around.
Hell yeah.
The whole concept of being interviewed is like weird to me, you know?
Well, like, how long have you been doing YouTube? It's been like quite a while for you, right?
20 well, I mean, like, if we're going to talk about like how long I've been doing it professionally, like making money and all that stuff, that's been since 2014.
Okay.
But if we're going to be talking about like how long I've been uploading videos consistently, I'd probably say 2011, 2012.
Right.
And like I think in 2011 is when I started doing the radio show.
Okay. Hell yeah. Because I wanted to ask you when you were really starting to like be interested in it, I imagine like, did you try a few channels first, or did you already just start with the That Creepy Reading channel?
So it didn't initially start with the That Creepy Reading YouTube channel. Instead, I think I used to have a channel called The Cool Man Wow, which was my Xbox gamer tag.
Right.
And I didn't really upload a lot to this channel. Just a few, like, if you guys remember Fallout 3 from back in the day, I uploaded a video that got semi-popular. I mean, like 3,000 views in 2008 is pretty cool.
Well, yeah.
But it was basically how to do God mode on Fallout 3, and I was mad because every time I looked up how to do God mode, it would like be like, oh, you have to use the tilde key. Yeah. I'm like, I'm 11, all right? I don't know what the hell a tilde is.
Right.
So I took a camera and physically filmed myself pressing the button. But the problem is that it was also 2008, so you couldn't see what button I pressed.
Oh god. So it's just this like blurry key, like
yeah. And then I'm like, look at all these cool things you can do in God mode while completely failing to do the
This video did not help me, sir.
Nah, I got a lot of feedback. I shouldn't have been making videos back then.
Oh man, but I imagine it was like fun. You know, it was fun.
But you know, I uploaded to that channel briefly. Basically those like camera let's play type stuff.
Right.
Where you know, like the DSP style, where you just point a camera at it.
Yeah,
and
you just film
because it's like 2009.
Oh yeah. Those are the days.
And then after that, I stopped and started doing like an internet radio show. I used to be like a radio broadcast host for a website called Ponyville Live.
Okay.
And that was weird because I ended up getting fired from that because my co-host was super edgy and like said something really fucked up. I don't remember what it was, but they said something fucked up while we were on air.
Right.
And we both got let go.
Damn.
Ponyville Live, I think, still exists in some form, but it certainly isn't like where it used to be.
And that was like Friendship is
That
Magic
was like
or whatever.
20, yeah. I was like super into My Little Pony as like a teenager from the age of like 13 to 15 per se.
Right.
But I quickly moved on from that. Because after getting fired, I didn't really know what to do with my life or what the hell I was doing. And that's it was like in that interim that through a friend of a friend that I met a YouTuber called Tats. Runs the YouTube channel Tats Tops the Videos.
Okay.
And basically they were looking for help creating said videos. And I mean, like, if you haven't heard of Tats, I mean, back in the day, they were pretty legendary because they were like combining 3D animation with the whole like top list format. And I
think I've seen like some of those, yeah, like from way back.
That name sounds familiar. I think I remember seeing a few of those like way back.
Yeah, so Tats kind of was the person who taught me how to edit and you know, got my legs in onto script writing. That's probably about 13, 14 at this time, although I need to stress I was not telling people my age on the internet back then, right? Because it's like first thing you know is like, okay, what are pedophiles looking for? Children. All right, well, I'm not a child anymore.
Usually.
I mean, I was raised in the fucking brony fandom. I had my defenses held high.
Oh,
like,
I can only imagine. Yeah. No doubt.
So many situations in that community where it's just like, yeah, I met my boyfriend when I was 12, but I mean, I'm 18 now, and you know, we're like married, so it's like no harm, no foul. I'm like, what do you mean? What the hell? Why is this a fucking Tumblr post?
Yeah, that's
Why
not
would
good.
you admit this in any context? But no, that's just a fucking brony fandom, man.
Yeah, Christ. I mean, you know, I was gonna say, just because you bring that up, is like, and guilty as charged. We've had a few streams where we've looked at some MLP stuff with like an MLP creator that we're both buddies with. But
MLP isn't bad, by the way. It's just that there are people
we
in the community.
Yeah, that was kind of what I was gonna get at. Is like, it's easy to like paint with broad strokes. Yeah.
One of my good friends is a guy called Josh Scorcher, and I mean, he's a brony, and I was like one of the groomsmen at his wedding. You know, I just know that the brony fan. I mean, with every fandom, right?
Yeah,
there isn't necessarily any doors you can do to gatekeep people out. I mean, like we've already seen how insane it's kind of already gotten with like the Hell of a Boss and what's it called? Has Been Hotel fandoms.
Yeah.
Where it's like I'm going to a convention and then I hear a little girl say, "Oh, I'm like, that character's first line was talking about how they got syphilis. Why does they know that name?"
Yeah,
told them that name. Like,
but
why
I mean,
are they watching that?
I mean, it's like when we were like kids or whatever. Yeah, it's like when we were kids. Like, I know Zuki and I were watching.
When I say little girl, I'm not talking about like a 10 or an 8-year-old. I'm like talking like toddler. I'm talking like between
like 3 or 4,
3 to 6.
Right.
I can't be for sure because all children kind of sound like they're young, but.
You gotta think kids are really perceptive. That's like how the reason why the cigarette mascot Joe Camel got stopped being used because like he was most identifiable with like kids from like 3 to like 12. They be like, "That's Joe Campbell. He smokes Camel cigarettes."
Yeah, they'd like him because he was a cool
cartoon.
camel. Yeah, it was a
Yeah, it's a
cartoon. Yeah.
cartoon.
It's hard to talk about the ethics of this kind of thing because it's like, you're not allowed to criticize other people's parenting, but at the same time, it's like, man, that's kind of crazy that you let your kids watch like your very young children watch Hell of a Boss.
Well, the thing about it is like it's like with all forms of adult cartoons. Most parents see it as a cartoon. They could be like, I see cartoons like Mickey Mouse, and they don't look at it past.
They're not looking at it past that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just kind of insane.
Yeah, I got you.
Because like I feel more bad for the kid because now the kid has arcane knowledge that other kids aren't allowed to know. So imagine what happens to that kid when they decide to go to like a birthday party and they're really into that Poison song from Has Been, but the moment they bring it up, they're the other kid's mother like quarantines them into the no-no zone.
Well, yeah, it can create issues for sure, no doubt. Yeah.
I never even thought about that because I just know like I know that like especially with just YouTube in general, I know that I've seen some stuff that says for the YouTube kids like that's just not even supposed to be there, but that's been like a big thing on YouTube for a minute now anyway, how the YouTube kids section has weird stuff going in it.
I mean, yeah, that's a rabbit hole. It's a rabbit hole for sure. Like
YouTube being negligent has been like the thing the site's known for.
Well, yeah, that's par for the course at this point, right?
Yeah,
like, right? Like who's like, oh no, YouTube, it's exposing the kids dumb shit again.
They did it again.
And it's like, it's like that SpongeBob meme. It's like, how many times do I have to teach you this lesson, old man?
Yeah.
Then the sponsors pull out, and then I'm the one getting punished for it. Like, damn it, Logan Paul said the N-word again, and now I'm getting punished.
So that kind of brings me to like my next question in regards to like content creation. Like, so when you got to that point where you started taking it very seriously, you moved on from that lost job, and then you started working with Tats.
Keep in mind, I was not getting paid for the internet radio stuff.
Right.
And the main like thing that I got from Tats was experience, and also like I got to learn how to write a script,
right?
And
like the
what it was like to what it was like to have an audience,
right?
And that was like very satisfying watching like a video of mine that I wrote as like a person still in junior high school, getting like 600,000 views.
Yeah, no doubt.
And like even if I didn't necessarily get paid for that, it felt really good. After that, though, like after I did this for a few months, I was looking up this YouTube video, and I don't remember what the video was, but I could probably find it given enough time, assuming it's still around. But this guy made a top list of all the best creepypastas ever narrated. Right. And I was super into horror, but I had those kind of parents that were like, listen, you can watch anything as long as there's no nudity and it's not horror.
Yeah.
So I mean, like the only horror I got to experience up till like a pretty late in my life was like PG-13 or PG horror. I didn't get to watch the classics. I didn't really get to do that. And every time I did watch something, it was like behind their back, and it was like super like, the same kind of feeling you'd probably get like trying to smoke weed before it was legal. Like I'm having fun, but God,
no
at any
comment.
moment this could get real fucked up.
no comment. We're good noodles here. We don't do
that.
He's being extremely sarcastic.
When I started doing the creepypasta stuff, that became immediately successful. Like there was no like time between where it was just I'm doing this and I'm not really getting a lot from it to I'm doing this and whatever. Like I made a channel within the first month. I was partnered with an MCN. They were taking like 40% of my paycheck, right? But I was making like $80 to a couple $100 a month. Just reading these horror stories. And I mean,
were you still in high school, or were you like out of
Yeah, very,
context,
actually, not even high school. We're talking
yeah,
junior high, dude.
context
Okay,
is
wow.
in junior high making $80. That's a lot.
Yeah, that's pretty
Yeah, well,
good.
I mean,
yeah.
my first month was 80. The next month was like 200, and then the next month after that was
Oh
like
snap!
400.
He was getting
And
all the.
I was making between
Yeah.
like
He
2
was
to
flexing at lunch.
500.
Wasn't you? You got all the fruit snacks at lunch.
Oh man, that's dope. As like
Oh,
as a
no,
as a young person, that's really dope.
Yeah,
that is insane. But then my parents started making me pay for like my own bills and stuff like that, so I didn't really get to keep a lot of it. And then like
Damn, the ops.
my house caught on fire, and then it turned into I don't get to have food in my house at all, and I don't know how to drive, so I don't get to get groceries either.
Right.
So a lot of that food, a lot of that, I'm not gonna lie, turned into like I had 3 or 4 options for food, and it was like Guido's Pizza, Zoop's, Burger King, or Coney Island. And I got sick of Burger King real fucking quick.
Yeah.
So I would primarily go to like the Coney Island and eat there. And God, I think back this time and I'm like, if my parents paid for my food at this point in my life, I would have way more money in my savings account.
Well, yeah, because you're paying for like takeout premiums essentially, right? You're paying restaurant prices.
Yeah, I was, and I had to do that for like 6-7 months. So like my entire check would just kind of go into not feeling shitty and leaving the house. I didn't necessarily have a lot of friends or anything like that. When I was living in the hotel, I was doing online school because, believe it or not, like when I first got my love for YouTube, because I've been watching YouTube since like 2006.
Right.
There's a lot of content creators I watch like way back in the day. Ironically enough, not like AVGN or whatever. There's this guy called Fluffy Talks, and he would read news stories and react to them crazily, or like Mike's fail toys or whatever.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh my God, a lot of viral clips, a lot of Numa. You know how it goes.
Yeah.
And yeah, God, I'm trying to remember like all that. I'm trying to dredge up the memory hole here because this whole era is something I'm very nostalgic for.
No, for sure. It's fascinating hearing about like your kind of gradual come up, man. Like your story.
Yeah, like I my first video I ever did got 60,000 views. And the reason why it did so well is because back in the day, when a large channel liked something, it sent that to their entire audience.
Yeah.
Right.
So I worked for Tats, and they had 300,000 or something subscribers.
Which would have been huge back then, right?
Yeah, which was huge back then.
Yeah.
So they would, as like payment for working and writing their scripts, they would occasionally like my videos, which would cause it to surge. And that video that I did was the first one I ever uploaded. They liked it, and immediately people were watching it. Now, my voiceover was not good in that video. It was the 1999 one, which had to be taken down because the guy who made it started like copyright striking people. Long story short, someone took his story, made edits to it, incorporated other parts of another story into it, and then uploaded that amalgamation to the creepypasta website, which is what I watch. Now, this kind of takes us back to that video I was telling you about. There's this one video where they made like a top 10 list of all the best creepypastas in the world. On that list was a story 1999. So I went to go look it up, and no one had ever narrated it, despite it being considered one of the best stories by this top list guy. I went to go see if any of the other narrators are planning on narrating it, because I watched a lot of Mr. Creepypasta, Creepypasta, Creepypasta Jr., the big three of the time. Watch a lot of them, and I went to go see, and I saw a post either from Mr. Creepypasta or Creepypasta basically saying that they wanted to do it, but since the story isn't finished, that they didn't really feel comfortable, because at the time of the version that was on creepypasta.com, and even the one that I think exists to this day, doesn't necessarily end. You just get these posts that kind of peter out, and that's something that I kind of liked about the horror of that. But long story short, no one's going to narrate this. I'm dyslexic, so I'm like, well, if no one's going to narrate it, how am I going to hear it? Oh God, I'm going to have to read it myself. So I said, fuck it, I'll just like do it, as a one-off thing. Tats liked it. after I sent it to them, I didn't necessarily ask them to do it, but they did it anyway out of the kindness of their heart. And then the video blew up, and I'm like, all right, fuck it, this is what I'm doing for the rest of my life.
Right. Damn.
I mean, like, it didn't matter if I was making money at that point or not. I liked how it felt to have something that people genuinely enjoyed.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like, it was like probably just satisfaction for you at that point, right?
Yeah. And I mean, it didn't take long for a MCN to find me, and I was making money. My parents at first were definitely not cool with me making money on YouTube.
Yeah.
So I didn't tell them. I just kind of made a PayPal account. And after I had about like $1,000 in it, I showed it to, I think, my stepdad or my mom.
Mhm.
And at that point I was like, so am I just gonna have to delete this money, or can I get a bank account to put it into?
Right.
Right.
So that was kind of you
And-
just going like, I'm really making a living doing this, so
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
I've been making money on YouTube. You know what my stepdad told me when I asked him if I could make money on YouTube? He said
laughed.
that I had to prove to him that I actually gave a shit about it, so he wasn't gonna let me make money until I hit 100K followers. You know how much money I would have given up if I actually listened to that?
Yeah.
yeah, probably
A lot of money
100K
would not be
100K back
I
then
mean-
too. Like 100K.
I mean, keep in mind, it took me like till 2016 to get 100K, but
Yeah.
like,
No, but I was
it was
looking
a
at a
slow burn.
14-year-old. The fact that you got $1,000 to your name as a middle schooler was enough to go. Maybe then again, back in the day, the internet was like fairly new still, kind of to
Yeah.
everybody, and
It's
the
kind of weird
concept
for
of,
older people.
why would anyone look at TV show on the computer when you can watch it in front of the old boob tube like we've been doing for 50 years? Then next thing you know, you got $1,000. The crazy part is the fact that I didn't even know. To my knowledge, as an American, I thought you could even enter in a contract if you was under 14. I mean, if you're under like 18, you can't even sign any paperwork officially. So you really was getting over on them because, like, if anything legally went, like, I was actually a child. This isn't legally
Yeah,
valid to me
honestly,
at all.
Creepy's just telling us about how he finessed everyone.
Hold on. Wait a minute.
This is dope.
I mean, it was hard to explain to my parents that I wanted to make money and that this could be a thing.
Yeah.
And I won't lie. Like, in terms of family, it's always been like an uphill struggle to get people to see it. I mean, after everything started to become successful, I think they started to become more accepting, more happy with it. But even then, like, at my brother's graduation, like, I think my grandfather on my mom's side straight up accused me of being a Satanist because I read horror stories instead of talking about Jesus. So that can give you like an idea of like the kind of leanings that my family had.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, at school, most people didn't even believe that I made the videos that I did, and those that didn't like it because, I mean, it was like a Christian thing.
Right.
I don't know like what was about it, but definitely the area that I was in had a conservative, like, kind of Christian leaning, and anything that was like kind of in that alternative area, which is, I mean, like, don't get me wrong, I wasn't like the best kid ever, but like, being an antisocial loner who prides themselves on watching My Little Pony and reading horror stories on the internet, I actually didn't get very popular with that. And my popularity on the internet got so bad at school because everyone knew who I was and most of them wanted to fuck with me in some way.
Right.
I actually had to drop out of that school and start doing the online school.
Yeah.
And right at the beginning of that, my older brother set the house on fire, which meant that we were basically living the sweet life of Zach and Cody for a little bit. And I won't get too much into it, but
No, honestly though,
back then, we got 2 hotel rooms. One, it was like one of those extended stay, one for me and my brother, and then one for my mom, little brother, and stepdad. And let me tell you, my brother was going through some problems at that time, being like an overly moody teenager with a lot of other problems that basically I got to live there on my own. So it's like kind of it definitely felt like my first time being able to be independent and on my own.
I will
Having
say,
to pay for all my food, kind of. Yeah.
I will say that, like, you know, firstly, I want to say, like, I appreciate you being as open as you are, and you know, it's like something I've really respected about you in your content, that like you're very candid with your audience. You share a lot about who you are and what experiences kind of led you to making the content you do, how like certain media affects you and resonates with you. It's honestly like sincerity that's kind of lacking in a lot of YouTube. Like it's not often that you hear someone who's like pretty sincere about how they feel and think and certain formative things. So like, you know, Zuki and I really appreciate you sharing all this with us, and I hope you're comfortable being this
I
open
feel like
and
I've
sharing.
demonstrated some. I think I've demonstrated that I clearly don't have a lot of shame for this part of my life.
Well, I mean, it's very commendable, though. I hope you know that it's very appreciated.
But yeah, so I mean that's basically how everything kind of got started.
Right.
Yeah, I was in high school, I was reading horror stories, and I read horror stories because that was the only way to get access to horror, because my parents were very much anti that.
You
And by
basically
the time,
created it yourself, yeah. Because you
yeah,
didn't
I
have
mean, like,
options.
my parents didn't know what the fuck YouTube was, so I'd be able to put that on like the laptop that I
Right.
got for Christmas, and I'd be able to just kind of listen to horror stories while I go to bed. And the thing is that, you know, when I was at school, like I had this huge problem where, because I was getting bullied so much, I wasn't like permitted to be in the classroom because it was becoming a distraction. So instead of reprimanding the 30 other kids that are partaking in this like group harassment, they removed me from the room. Now, that was fine for me because all I did was, in response, watch a bunch of History Channel documentaries, do my homework, and watch Supernatural in the library. I'd also watch a lot of YouTube videos and horror narrations, and the thing that like I really liked was when I could find a really nice long edited video, like not like a let's play, like something with genuine substance that also had a bit of girth and length to it. And that's partially why all of my videos are of longer length, because, you know, I try to create content that would have appealed to that, like, I guess, younger me that really needed an escape from their own situation.
I feel it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Because it's like
that's
you want to
cool.
make the content that you knew that yourself would like to listen to.
That's why if you go back to my like older videos in the channel, a lot of the stories on there are like over like on the longer side, like 30 minutes or longer. And when I started doing the Let's Not Meet stuff, the reason why I would do like a compilation of like a bunch of stories is because I wanted the length to be long still, even if I was reading shorter stories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of other people who had like a different meta where it's just like, oh, we'll just read a story and then upload a video every day. I uploaded once or twice a week, but every story I uploaded was over in like an hour or something.
I think
probably
like
not bad, but,
you know, and you probably know a lot more about like creepypasta narrators than me, but I listened to plenty when I was younger. Like especially like Let's Read and honestly a bit of you here and there. And
oh
like
my
Dr.
God, Let's
Creepin.
Read's a homie.
He's the best, man. That guy has gotten me through a lot of work, got me through a lot of restless nights.
He's a funny
that
guy.
man's a legend. Yeah, Jolsey's like very cool. I've been a fan for a long time. But like someone like B Busta, I remember he would have like very bite-sized stories. He'd do like 10 minutes, like one story, or like maybe a couple of stories, right? But like the thing that I always liked was like those 30 to 40-minute stories that you could just kind of chill out to or whatever. Like something you could really like get into. So
I mean, the meta for the
dope.
creepypasta game is so fucked up now. Like, if you want to be popular in that sphere, you got to be uploading like every day. And quite frankly, with the amount of work that's required, you can't. And that's why I don't like doing it anymore.
Well, yeah, I imagine, because it's like you have to do all the audio balancing and stuff too, right?
No. Like you literally, it is not hard to produce a creepypasta narration.
Okay.
All right. Especially if you like listen to a lot of the big narrators, they won't even edit out mistakes. They'll just fucking.
I've heard you like
just keep
repeating
going.
sentences and stuff. Yeah.
yeah. They'll just keep going. You know, like you don't level up into a creepypasta narrator. Creepypasta narrators level out of narrations.
It's like a stepping stone. Yeah.
Yeah, like I mean, like I'm pretty sure you. What's that one guy's name? Corpse Husband.
Yeah.
Guy started reading horror stories. Now, what is he known for?
Like music and streaming mostly, and not showing his face, but music and streaming, I imagine.
Yeah, music and streaming.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, he definitely is. Yeah, was definitely doing stuff, but I mean, like, yeah, if we look at his like most popular videos, they're like Among Us themed.
Yeah.
And he got to start doing these horror stories, but he eventually grew into a bigger personality than that. You don't see people level up into creepypasta narration. They usually level out of it. It's not like a really high form of art. And while there is a craft and an art to it, it's just not really creatively filling. And I wanted to be like a figure that people could like hear their opinions and know that it's coming from that person.
Yeah.
So at first I tried reviewing creepypastas, but then I was like, as an adult, I was like, wait a minute. Why would I make a review for this thing? It's free. Who is this for?
Yeah.
And then like I just kind of started doing it because it was the thing that I fell into, and it was like the thing I was popular for. And then I stopped after the adpocalypse. PewDiePie said the N-word, and like 70% of all ad revenue went down the toilet.
Thanks, Felix.
So I figured if I wasn't going to make money off of the thing that I was doing, and I wasn't really feeling creatively satisfied by what I was doing, I figured, well, might as well pivot into doing something that I kind of did like. And that was, writing the lists for tats.
Yeah.
I just wrote it for myself. Blame it on George got me hooked up with some great music from a guy, and I just started doing it. At first, it wasn't really like that successful or like any better than the creepypasta stuff.
Right.
But over time, as I built that catalog of like watchable good content, people started like rewatching those videos, and they kept getting more popular. You'd upload a creepypasta and it would stop getting viewed after like a month.
Would you find that like the creepypasta stuff, it would stagnate, whereas like, because I wanted
creepypasta stuff, you'd upload one and it'd get like 10 to 20,000 views, and then like that's it.
Right.
But with this, it's like I'd write something and maybe it would initially get 20,000 views, but people would keep coming to it. Now we're 5 years down the line and the video's at 500,000 views. When you make something that's worth rewatching, something that's worth listening to again, something that has like a genuine opinion and a point to it, people return and they remember it. And the fact that I was the one that wrote it makes it a lot more special to me.
So one thing I wanted to ask you, just kind of on how you pivoted that way, when it came to your lists, like obviously you were always intrigued with horror, as you shared, but like what made you really want to go in that direction, like to do that format?
The list format?
Yeah.
Well, even while I was narrating creepypastas, I had made lists on the channel, and they had always done well, but they're always like related to creepypasta.
Mm-hmm.
So I figured I'll just do a list on something horror related. And the first one I think we did was like theme park accidents.
Right.
It wasn't a God, 1 second. I'm gonna mute.
Yeah, my nigga hit that shit hard.
And he went down the wrong pipe. Rookie mistake.
There ain't no wrong pipe for it to go down. It's all the same pipe.
Yeah.
And it's all needs to go down. Oh God, you should use that in the intro. But yeah, the first one that I did was, what's it called? Theme park accidents.
Yeah.
And that one did like not well at first, but it kept getting views. And like I said, even if it didn't do well at first, I was more proud of that video than anything else I made.
Right.
And eventually, after a couple of years of making these lists, it became profitable enough for me to quit my job. Or rather, I got laid off, and then I was like, well, fuck it. I'm just not going to get another job. I'm making enough money.
You just focused on this. Yeah. Yeah.
And I focused on that. But then when the money stopped coming in as well, I got another job. And then, everything was going well again. And then with the Plague Moth drama that happened on Twitter, I took a 6-7 month break, and
yeah,
I've been working.
We were gonna get into that a little bit later because I figured we'd segue to that gradually.
That's the basic timeline, right? I did creepypastas all through high school. I moved out. Adpocalypse happened. Then I started doing lists. I did a few lists in the past, like the cults, and I think I did and I think for a Christmas special, I did a like disturbing animated films for kids, and that one blew up. But like, in my experience, I was like, I have written multiple lists that have broken multi-million view counts. I can do this. And I think with the transition to list, I got off of like Sony Vegas and I learned Premiere. I'm currently learning After Effects and Blender right now. Not so much on Blender, but After Effects I'm definitely making progress on. I'm all self-taught, and a lot of it comes from just using the program and then just trying to do new stuff with every video.
Nice.
But yeah. God, I'm lost in the sauce. Next question.
The sauce.
Damn, I got him. One of the things that I wanted to bring up that I always liked about your lists is like you spotlight a lot of creators. Like you'll have a lot of different creators contribute to them.
Sometimes
doing like narration or writing. It bites you in the ass. Oh man, I was gonna talk about the good stuff because I was gonna say like what compelled you to try and bring on like. Sort of a diverse group of characters.
I kind of told you already that the reason why my channel blew up is because I worked for another YouTuber and they liked my videos, and them liking my videos is what got it in front of people. Mm-hmm. YouTube doesn't work unless if we uplift each other. Like, the algorithms aren't necessarily dependable, and you don't really want to get the guy that knows how to manipulate the algorithm becoming popular like off of the bat. You typically want like actual creators to get some
like
level
human
of
beings,
yeah. So there's like definitely a lot of creators. What's it called? Long story short, that was my way of helping other narrators in the community, because like it wasn't just with the list. Even when I was doing the Let's Not Meet stories and I was doing multiple stories, I would reach out to other narrators and ask if they would narrate the story, put it, and then have me put it on the channel, and then I'd tell people to go check them out at the end of the video.
Right.
Like I wanted to use my platform as a way to uplift other people, just as I had been uplifted through my work with Tats.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what that was about. Not to mention too, like, sometimes I want to cover a variety of subjects, but I myself don't necessarily have the passion for it. So if I can get someone that's like within that community that can help me present why they love a thing, I like to take advantage of that. And I feel like that kind of helps with the emotional core of the videos by getting people that are genuinely interested in the subject matter that we're talking about to talk about the things that we are talking about. Sometimes for me, I'm the protagonist and I'm talking about my feelings and all that stuff. Sometimes I'm a director trying to create a thing to help you resonate with an idea.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because like I always thought it was so cool that you would have like someone like Veritas Joe in one segment, and then you'd have like Blame It on George in another segment, and they would speak very passionately about like different things. Like
with Veritas Joe on the lines that he did, I had to like fucking chase him around the internet. He is a very hard person to get a hold of, but I did get a hold of him. I did get him to narrate the thing. And for like the segment that he did, I wrote down like a basic plot summary of the movie Perfect Blue because he convinced me to watch it in one of his videos. And I had him talk about Perfect Blue. And then at the end, I was like, ad-lib Joey bits here.
Right.
And he added that whole end bit about like what it means to him and all that kind of stuff. And I feel like that really made the video better. Just fucking sucks that no one watched the fucking anime videos. Can't watch anime videos. I really like
the anime video.
I like that anime video.
Too,
like the disturbing anime video.
It's like
disturbing anime video is like how I found you.
Yeah, it's like at 80,000 views, despite everything else being over 100K.
Which is weird because like
that it flopped.
You'd think that like AniTubers and stuff,
I mean, like you like cartoons, but I put anime in it, and all of a sudden it gets 80% less views than it normally does.
Yeah,
like,
that's a little weird.
I don't know. I maybe it's just because I didn't present it right, or that I could have did it better, or maybe it's the tags, or maybe it's just because I don't really have that audience, and the initial views weren't there. I still think it's a good video, though.
It is a good video.
Yeah, I enjoy it quite a bit as an anime fan. But like
honestly, any video from the list era, I think is perfectly watchable and great.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the old like worst YouTuber lists weren't as good. I definitely had some cringe opinions, but
I mean, but everyone grows and learns.
Yeah, definitely. I'm just like, here's the thing, like I definitely would be in a shittier place today if I had been a opinion YouTuber and not just reading other people's like straight up, there's a period of time where I wanted to be like one of the skeptics.
Oh, I'm glad you dodged that bullet.
Like I even had channel art made for it and everything.
You had your arms folded.
God, thank God. I mean, kinda. I definitely had a rig made by someone. It was called mummified skepticism. It never saw the light of day. I never had the motivation to do it, and quite frankly, after like interacting with the armored skeptic even once, I realized that there were problems with this community.
Oh, man.
I was super enamored because like I grew up in like old school YouTube, and if y'all remember old school YouTube, big segment of that community was the atheist movement. A lot like Thunderfoot, TJ Kirk, all these people. I was like super into it because like at the time I was a confused kid living in a Christian town, being bullied by Christians for not being Christian enough. And it's like, damn, wait a minute. I could choose not to believe that. I mean, I've never really been fully compelled anyway. So that definitely was my angry neckbeard atheist phase.
That sounds very neckbeardy, man.
I'm just saying, I wouldn't have a great reputation if, as a 15-year-old, I was making videos about my unfiltered political opinions that were pretty much me regurgitating the opinions of problematic people that I think are weird now. I can't see that going well for me.
I was gonna say, like, like 15-year-olds are known for their salient political discourse, right? So
nah.
I mean, actually now it's kind of more true if you get online because it's a bunch of 15-year-old with opinions that we don't need to hear.
I mean, God, I'm just so glad that like I was above the rant community, like the creepypasta community. Say what you want about them, at least they don't like level up into the rant community, right? I feel like if you're a rant person and you wanted to make better content, I think you would level up into a creepypasta narrator, right? Like, I don't know. I feel like there's like a power scaling on YouTube.
It feels like tiers, no doubt.
You got like the level 100 mob boss, Mr. Beast, and then like, you got the level 50 gangsters and
what's the Mafia City setup?
The level 10 sub 20.
No, y'all got it wrong. The level 100 is the greatest rant song of all. Guptail 89's at the top.
Oh my man.
Guptail the legend tell him that we need Blockbuster and game rental back, and then at the bottom will be
I'm just glad I never I'm glad I never I'm glad I never got inspired by the Channel Awesome / AVGN people. I'm just saying, like, as cringy
That's a
as
bullet
mummified
dodged.
skepticism.
That's a
Hey,
bullet
that's the
dodge.
bullet.
Imagine if I became the next game dude. I'd be living in Tijuana,
Yeah.
escaping my allegations like a man.
Game dude getting his new passport and new fingerprints and leaving forever.
I'm dead.
Oh,
Game
man.
Dude is the
Proud
closest thing
Canadian.
he's gonna get to a
Seeing
Arkham
that
villain.
guy sing his song at like a convention party or something, and no one singing along with him because no one fucking knows the lyrics.
It's the gamer dude.
that's a shame. The Game Dude theme
It's the
song's
game
dope, man.
dude, the game dude.
Yeah, he is so rude. He is the
Listen,
gamer with
it's
a
funny
bad
how he got
attitude.
into pop. That dude went to fucking same college that the AVGN went to, so he could learn how to edit like him.
That's creepy.
That feels
Not-
like
And like this wasn't like AVGN like today.
Hey,
This
isn't
is
Yeah.
AVGN 2007.
Is James Rolfe Canadian?
no,
No, okay.
I don't think the game dude's Canadian.
no. The Game Dude is Canadian. Yeah, he's from Vancouver.
Okay.
So he
okay, that's why I was,
he went to
that's
school
what-
in the
that's why I was
States then.
confused.
Yeah.
this man paid way more money.
I could
go
be
to-
mistaken on that. I could be mistaken on that.
Okay.
I may.
Yeah.
I remember I heard it from a video, and I don't know.
I
And
got you.
honestly, they could have probably said they learned to edit like they went to college, so they could learn to edit like
Oh,
the AVGN and
'Cause
not.
That's what I was trying to.
Look,
that's what
man.
I
I
was
don't know.
trying to figure-
I'm
that's what I was
pretty
trying to
sure.
figure out.
I'm like 45% sure that he went to the same college that the AVGN
Yeah,
went to.
it
just
is
like a bunch-
possible. Like
I'm
Canadians can go to school in the
45%
United
sure,
States.
so-
It just costs
Yeah,
a lot
but-
of money.
But that's just wild. You would go from a better school system to a worse school system
my
and pay more
God.
money.
If I honestly, if I made the mummified skepticism channel, dude, it
I
probably
would-
would be
I
like
would
the
not have
same
watched
Hey,
tier-
I'm not gonna lie. You gotta.
That
you
would
gotta-
be the same tier of content as just a
So,
robot. Like,
What I wanted to know with the mummified skepticism, have you ever told anybody about that story before? It's just a world class exclusive.
Is this-
nah, that's you're the first people that know it.
Yo, we got the
Yeah,
exclusive, baby. World premiere.
The only people that know about that channel would have been the artist that created the artwork for it, and I probably slid the idea by blaming it on George. But like I don't like, if I slid the idea by him, I probably pitched it like, oh, it'd be like rants of fitting music, except this time we'd like it's like rants of fitting music, except like for its own channel. And
Oh man.
it's not
Man.
like, again, back in those days, Gamergate, feminism bad, ooh, like that was just kind of the culture back then. And
I mean,
also,
yeah.
most of us are like, I mean, like we were like fucking kids growing up through that. Like,
I was actually in college during Gamergate. Laughing.
it's funny because like the way I met George was like I was on YouTube and I got recommended a vlog video, and it was like expectations about guys versus girls, and he made this like vlog video that I don't think is like on the internet anymore. I don't know what the fuck happened to that, but I agreed with his opinion so hard. I looked up his name on Skype, I added him, he added me back, and the first thing I did was throw him into a call with Tats, and he was a big fan of Tats. So we all just like chatted and started hanging out, and then George had me voice in some of his videos, and of course I had him voice in mine, and that kept going. And he just blew up, fucking blew the fuck up, and I'm just so happy about that.
That's cool.
If anyone on YouTube deserves to have the success that they do, it's probably blaming on George, because I've seen that guy go from like shit posting memes and just doing whatever he can with the editing software to being like probably the most coolest editor person ever. Like I swear to God, every time I come back to him, you know, he'll be like, "Yeah, I'm using my new quantum computer to edit my video in VR or some shit." Like, and he like snaps his fingers, and it's
Jesus
like
Christ.
PS2 animation created.
And
from
man, it's like-
He's
Animator.
got the
And
like the Iron Man Jarvis
Yeah.
layout.
guy's computer's probably like the same one they got in Minority Report, where he just like
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and I look at that, I'm like, man, I wish I could do that. I
That's so
probably
cool.
could if I applied myself better. Yeah, he's
Hey.
always like one of those people that's like in your life, and you can be like, hey, they're doing something really cool. Maybe I can do better.
He
Yeah.
said, "I'm making a kaiju with my advanced quantum physics. What are you doing?"
I'm eating a
And the
burger.
thing I've also learned about YouTube is that if Blame It on George tells you something like algorithm related or, you know,
You should
video
do it.
wise, just fucking do it.
Yeah,
Every time I've taken this guy's like advice, like I've had banger videos.
he's just
Yeah,
had his
I
finger on
would-
the pulse.
Yeah, I mean, he is trending. He is going.
Oh,
yeah, he is
absolutely.
going
And
up.
it's like
Yeah,
his
so-
videos are amazing looking too. Like, yeah, his editing
Yeah.
is top notch. So
Yeah, he's the guy who taught me how to use Adobe Premiere. I would be editing one of my videos and he'd be editing one of his. We'd be in a Discord or Skype call or whatever. And like, I'd be like, how do I do a thing? And then he'd explain how to do a thing. And after a while, I got to the point where I could do it proficiently on my own. He's also edited videos for me, like
Okay.
in their entirety. And I'd sit in the call and I'd tell him what I want done.
right.
I don't know why he would do that, but oh my God, the dude was a G.
Yeah, goddamn, he sounds nice.
Dude, he's the best friend any dude could ask for.
Zuki, why don't you edit videos for me, man? I hate editing.
I don't know shit about editing, dog.
I gotta get an editor friend. Okay, yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, I mean, being a content creator, you learn you meet a few
Look,
editors.
I do it
I can fix the
begrudgingly.
computer. I can diagnose the computer. I can deal with technology. I'm not finna learn video editing.
Nah,
I already went to school to learn how to do other stuff. With
I'm in
computers.
I'm in a weird spot where like I do a lot of music stuff, which Creepy knows.
I like editing.
But like editing, I can't wrap my head around it. Like when it comes to editing for you, like what's your process or like what's your workflow? How do you do it? Does it just come like nothing to you?
70% of the work is scripting.
Okay.
So researching, getting the stuff together, and then the second part would be downloading all of the assets. Sometimes that's like getting gameplay footage, recording your own gameplay footage, reaching out. Sometimes I'll reach out to a musician and I'll request to use their cover of a song or their music, because I just like their work. And if they're a
Right.
smaller person, I definitely like to reach out. And then after I get all the assets that are needed and downloaded, actually I'll usually narrate before I do that. I'll narrate my segments. I'll send off the lines to other people. I have like a script that's like color coded, so that way people know what lines that they're doing. And then after everything's narrated, we do it like one segment at a time.
Okay.
So I might have my auxiliary editor Chris do like the PAF segment while I work on the VHS horror segment.
right.
Also, I'm the guy that I do all the intros. I also have to edit all the ads, and sometimes within that communication, my editor does a lot more work than I do in the editing process.
Yeah. Okay.
But I do take like and I look at everything, I approve it, and I will often make tweaks, edits, and changes to the whole thing throughout. I also handle all the music and sound effects, because like when my editor edits something, I need to be clear on this. They do the visual and layout, and they put the visuals to the voiceover. I'm the one that does the music, levels the audio, and puts and masters the whole thing together.
Okay.
I got you.
Right.
So
it's like
I get him to do like the work. Sometimes like it's really hard for me to edit like a whole video on my own. So he does the work that sometimes I struggle to get myself to do. And then it puts it back into my hands to make it all kind of creatively click together.
I
Okay.
got you.
Without Chris, this job would be infinitely harder than it already is. But you know,
Hell yeah. I mean,
in that process, it's
fair.
not really that hard. I break it up into pieces, and getting those pieces done gives you an end goal, right?
That's really
So
cool.
if
I never thought
wanna-
of it that way. Like I always
it's like
just approached
Voltron.
I always approached
Yeah.
like the project. You know, I always thought like, okay, nothing's done. Finish the whole video rather than like doing it in
you
segments.
gotta like, because like in script writing and in basic writing 101, you got to keep your audience's attention. Any little
Right.
thing can get them to click off the video. You want to trim as much fat as humanly possible. The
Yeah.
shorter the better, but you want it to be short, but you don't want it to lack context or narrative, right? Like
Yeah.
you don't want it to lose substance. If something's interesting, you want to keep that in there. So the best way to keep people's attention is to have clear and clever transitions that all eventually lead into a point. Now with the lists, that format's easy.
Right.
I talk about the path. I spend 5 minutes talking about the path. Next item.
Yeah.
That break lets people mentally reset. It lets me set the scene for the next sort of segment. And bam, we narrate it and they retain it better. And the better that we do at putting together the segment, making sure that we cut all the fat out, you know, the more snappy and quick the video feels.
Mhm. Okay.
Yeah.
But I even approach like pretty much everything I write, I approach like a list. You know, I get the things I want to talk about. I put them down in the order that I kind of want each theme to go. I'm like, even for the Night in the Woods video, I kind of got it formatted in the same way that I would a list.
Right.
But you know, I want to do more videos like the Night in the Woods one. That one's my favorite.
Where like
I don't
where you like
I don't
spotlight
remember shit
something, yeah.
about it. I don't remember narrating it. I don't remember editing it. I don't remember what's in the video. Quite frankly, I'd probably be embarrassed. I know
just
I
watch
cried
it.
on the mic. I know.
No, you gotta watch it because like
Yeah, watch
that
your
part-
own video.
Because that part where you talked about the proximity mission between.
Oh my god, yeah. I mean, I still got that tattooed on my arm.
Yeah, I know. I was like, that's
cool.
that was a good video though. I was like, that's the video I showed all the homies.
Yeah, dude, that's
Yeah.
it's the one that I got the most vulnerable in. I know that it got demonetized and it didn't really, like, when it first came out, it didn't really do well, but it keeps getting like reposted on Reddit and like people keep sharing it.
Cause it's a good video, man.
Yeah, like I remember, like it keeps getting watched. I mean, like it certainly doesn't get watched as much as the other videos in my catalog, but like it's consistently never failed to get views. It just goes up slowly, and I'm quite happy with it. It's the best thing that I've probably put together. It's the most worthwhile thing I've put into the market.
Let me just cut in here with another question here. So like we kind of touched on this before, that you're very open with your audience. You really do create you create a very welcome vibe for viewers. I've always found like it as a viewer myself of your content, I always felt like I kind of knew you, and like I really got to learn a lot about who you are and what's important to you and what makes you happy, what makes you sad. You know, it's nice to see that in a creator where you can connect with them, and it didn't feel like artificial. You know, it didn't feel like purely parasocial. It just felt like you were coming from a place of sincerity. So my question here is like, was that always your intent to really kind of build that rapport with your audience, and how did you like effectively build that relationship with people watching your content?
I might crucify myself here, but
oh god,
I grew up on YouTube.
Yeah,
my favorite content creators growing up. Early Nigahiga.
Yeah.
And you know how that guy was, open about his ADHD. As you know, I also suffer from the same thing, which, you know, like honestly, the way that guy like presents his like off the pill videos is kind of the same like thought process that my brain will go through, where like a billion things are happening at the same time and he's just regurgitating it out or he puts out a stream of consciousness that leads to a completely random conclusion.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that's something called spider webbing. I do it all the time. It fucking
Okay.
sucks. I mean, you've probably seen it here in this very video, but yeah. So a lot of my favorite creators, you know, Nigahiga, early Shane Dawson. What else is there? There's a God, definitely. I do not believe I ever enjoyed Onision, but I do remember coming across a lot of their videos.
I mean,
of the
people
algorithm
definitely
pushing 'em.
watch. Yeah, you come across it. Like I never watched much of Onision either.
Every content creator from when I started was like a dude, like Danebo or whatever, and you'd get to know not only their content but them as well. They'd do a variety of videos, podcasts, let's plays, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like I always like that. Not to mention, like, I'm gonna be real. High school, not a great experience for me. I didn't really have a lot of friends, and the friends I did have were like on the internet. So getting any sort of validation for who I am as a person or what I was doing mostly came through YouTube. Whenever I thought about like straight up killing myself, you know, I remind myself, well, I have the YouTube channel, and the YouTube channel people don't seem to think I'm such a shitty person like everyone else seems to think I am, you know? So I just tried to be straight and honest and, you know, not do anything overtly evil, I guess. And I guess, I don't know, YouTube's always been a second friend, you know?
Yeah.
I get a lot of stress and anxiety making a video and being like, okay, are people gonna like it? Are they really gonna like it? And then like I put it out there, and then like I get like 50 comments basically saying you're the God King Emperor of YouTube. And of course I'm like, I know I don't really feel like the God King Emperor, but you know, when you have really shitty self-esteem and every avenue in your life seems to be like punching down at you or dismissive or belittling, having a group of people that are literally just like any amount of kindness at all, it became a lot more less of a like a job and, you know, making money, and more of like a self-validation system.
Right.
Now I don't have that relationship anymore. I got a lot of amazing friends and a lot of people that like I'd take a bullet for. And the fucked up thing is that I met them all through the same damn YouTube channel.
Hey.
Everything in my life is connected back to this damn thing. So I don't know. If for me, my life kind of revolves around this, and it would be insane for me not to be open and honest about, you know, at least stuff that's like related to me, my opinion, the channel, and, you know, the content and media that I enjoy and commentate on. Obviously, you know, when stuff is going on with the family, I don't share that because, you know, we got to respect their privacy and,
for sure,
you know, all that stuff.
For sure.
Yeah. If anything happens, I would prefer it to happen to me, not anyone that I'm family with, even if we aren't really in contact anymore.
And that's real. And we respect you, because like that's the thing some people don't do. They like try to bring the other people with them.
Yeah, that's I know we're gonna get into that subject a little bit later, but I'll just say this right now: if you got kids, you know, you're allowed to talk about them. Avoid posting pictures if possible. Yeah. And if you are gonna post pictures, at the very least, don't bring them up in your content. Yeah. Try to keep them at least 2 steps away. If you bring them up, it should be in relation to how it makes you feel, not like anything else. Like saying, "Oh, my daughter did something cute today." That's one thing. That's okay. Bringing up, like, you know, I feel like the AVGN is like the best thing about it. Like when he brings up his kid, it's usually in relation to the review, and it'll be like, my kid's been playing this game, and even as a kid they hate it, or whatever. And it's like, and like that's it, you know. And I feel like that's like definitely about the line of where you want it to be. Being on the internet, the one thing I've learned is that having your whole self-esteem, validation, and also having the public eye on you fucking sucks. So don't don't let the public, like the general public, turn your kid into a spectacle. Don't like have that be the topic of conversation. Like, I love the AVGN, and the one thing that really sucks about his position is how people will like blame his wife and his kids for why the show sucks now. I'm like, the show doesn't suck now. It's better than it's been in a long time.
I dare you, man, on the internet, quit making entertainment and be with your family.
Yeah,
I want to click on video and be entertained now.
I think that's just kind of a byproduct of like those
AVGN
people not having
like
those values, right?
YouTuber.
Yeah.
Like I was gonna say, like with family especially, a lot of people who are watching content, they might not resonate with how important that is for certain people.
My mom wanted. I've had many people in my family ask, like, "Oh, what should we do if I want to let my kids start streaming?" I tell them, don't let your kids start streaming.
Yeah.
Too many pedophiles.
Don't.
Yeah.
I've like literally with the creepypasta thing, right? Like I was working with a pedophile for a long time. Had no fucking idea. Now, I wasn't a girl and they didn't know I was a child, but thank God, because I would have been in a really fucked up situation.
No doubt.
Yeah.
I like I said, I've been in the Brony community. That community is infested with weirdos like that.
Right.
Thanks.
My defenses were up before I joined the creepypasta community. Probably should have been a red flag when I realized that, you know, a lot of the narrators tend to talk to
younger people.
Yeah, but not even younger people, but like, you know, it was harder for a guy to talk to any of the big three than it was a girl.
Yeah.
Regardless of age.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, I was the fourth biggest narrator and I wasn't really invited to the club that much.
I got you.
If at all. And I probably for good reason. But
yeah.
it was a cringe lord back then. Jesus Christ, socially inept does not even begin to explain. I had to learn real fucking quick.
Hey, but to be fair, you were like a 14-year-old.
Thank Christ I learned back then. God, it's like I got to learn the lessons that get people canceled today as a kid.
Right.
And it doesn't affect my career. And if it ever does come back, I'm like, well, you're mad at a 14-year-old. What can I tell you?
I mean, that's kind of your job as a teenager, is to be cringe and like make mistakes.
God, that's over a decade ago. Shit.
Yeah. Exactly. But like when you're a teenager, if you're not out here making mistakes and being cringe and having like bad opinions because you don't really have the life experience to justify these opinions, like what are you really doing?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure I think I was like 14 turning 15 or 15 turning 16 when the YouTube channel was created.
Yeah. Also, just in your defense, I'll give you some slack because, like, not many 15-year-olds had, like, money coming in at age 15.
That's an added responsibility, yeah.
I
had parents who were divorced and, like, yeah, they're tax problems and all that shenanigans.
Yeah, because
long story short, on both ends, my parents were struggling. And I of course always did get to eat, at least until I started making my own money, at which point it was like you have to pay for your own food and stuff like that now.
Yeah.
And that got me really frustrated. It's just,
but you gotta
I'm
think
not going
like
into that. I can't go into that.
But you gotta think though, like at like that age, you had you was a breadwinner. Think about that. Not many kids like.
No, I mean, I was an idiot. I spent a good chunk of that money that I was getting on Guild Wars 2 loot boxes.
You're 14. Everyone's an idiot at that age.
Yeah,
you're supposed to be an idiot at that age.
I'm just saying. If my parents were as invested into my financial well-being as they said that they were, I definitely would not have been allowed to spend $3,000 on a video game.
Look, you're 14 with disposable income, dog. You're supposed to waste that money.
To be fair, that wasn't like all in one year. That was like over the course of like 7 years of playing.
Right. But even still, it's like
even then, I think
that's a fair amount of money.
with that much money. Shit.
Yeah, no.
Spending
no.
$300 on loot boxes suddenly like means something when you understand the concept of rent.
Exactly.
Yeah, but you didn't have to deal with that. You was a child with money.
Right.
It's like, all right,
Right.
bet.
He's just like, oh shit, I'm up.
Yeah.
Now I will pivot it back to something that we alluded to before. Obviously we do have to address this, but
Yep.
when it comes to the situation with Plagued Moth and like how all of that shook out, like how did you manage the stress and the challenge of dealing with like that constantly happening, him
Yeah.
discrediting you, that just that whole rigmarole?
Well, I mean, I
with,
wouldn't
like,
say
yeah.
discrediting because that would imply that like he made a fucking point that like actually it was rooted
Fair
in
enough.
reality.
Fair enough.
Well,
But the
I
question
would
still
say
stands.
Slander is probably a better term for it. It's kind of hard because with the Moth situation, the guy kind of works in extremes.
Right.
Whether it's like about the harassment, I mean, like the guy used to tweet about me literally every day and like take every opportunity to take jabs, sending like nasty messages across a bunch of different social media, going on my Reddit account, like posting under every single post that I made, accusing me of some of the most vile and horrible shit a human could do without backing it up in the hopes that people will just kind of take them at face value. This did, for a while get to me. I was sitting there at my computer all day, just responding to people on Twitter like a no-life loser, till I realized that something needed to change. I didn't
Right.
want my next video to be like a Moth-related video because I didn't really want to give him the power to dictate what kind of content I made. I also didn't want the check that I would depend on for paying my rent to come from YouTube if it meant that it would come off the backs of people watching this drama specifically for him. So I got a real job. I worked at a shipping plant where we shipped Ford car parts in Pontiac.
Mhm.
And I would work outside, or rather it was like in this warehouse with these like big doors open.
So it's
Long
like kind of
story
half
short,
and half, yeah.
if you ever watch Kaiji Ultimate Survivor, it was
Oh, I
kind
love
of like
Kaiji.
working in
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Oh, shit.
it was like my mine arc, right? Like it was
Oh,
like
yeah.
hard, heavy labor. Fucking, yeah, like 12 hours a day, because I had to make ends meet. You can't just not upload for 6 to 8 months and expect your bills to be taken care of.
Fact.
So
Yeah.
I figured if I was going to come back and respond to this guy, I would do so from a position of strength. I wanted to get myself a nice job. I wanted to be making all of my bills independently from YouTube. And I wanted to be able to say, hello, I'm a working adult. I function in society. You are fucking wrong.
Right.
You are wrong about me. You're wrong about everything I stand for. And I don't need fucking YouTube to feel validated, to be like a functioning adult. Clearly
Yeah.
you do. And
Yeah.
clearly you built your reputation on like such a shaky foundation that like you're having a mental breakdown, but I'm doing fine. And that's the position I kind of wanted to come back
So
to
yeah,
YouTube with.
you want to kind of reestablish yourself like from a, as you say, a place of strength, like where you had a lot of stuff figured out.
I needed to prove to myself that I could function without YouTube. I needed to prove to myself that I literally wasn't this weird neckbeard loser that like needed to thrive off a drama and profit from it in order to survive. And quite frankly, I don't. I proved that to myself. And now like I can kind of, I kind of look back on all that stuff and I think if I just responded sooner, I would have been better. But I kind of went on like a fucking Dragon Ball Z style training arc.
Right.
And that I honestly, the experience I got from that is I think is what's gonna make the future videos better. I lived a little bit of life instead of being stuck in this like mental hell. And I feel like YouTube is very mentally taxing and that people should normalize taking breaks, even if that means impacts to financial stability, or being able to turn off Twitter, turn off YouTube, stop looking at the analytics just so you can go outside, sniff the air, touch some grass, play a video game, and hang out with a friend. Maybe smoke a good doob.
Hell yeah.
Word.
So on kind of that note there, just before we wrap up, for some of our listeners who are smaller creators and they're trying to find their own voice, they're trying to establish themselves. What's a bit of advice that you would give as a larger creator to people who are just getting their start now?
It depends on where you're at, because I'm going to tell you the YouTube algorithm changes pretty regularly. So any advice I give you on that front could be liable to be outdated,
right,
as I'm saying the information. But what I will tell you is this: when you get started, don't be afraid to just make something.
Okay.
Even if it's bad, make it. You don't necessarily have to upload it, but you got to complete the project. And you got to keep doing it. And every project you do, you should try to get better at what you're doing. And, you know, you might see instant success with that. You might not. Don't be afraid to experiment. YouTube is a place where you got to learn how to adapt. If I still did creepypastas, I wouldn't have the audience that I do today. But the fact that I was able to pivot and do something completely different, now I'm more creatively satisfied. I'm happier with what I'm doing. And I'm making a lot more money than I was reading the old creepypasta stuff. That's going to be true going forward. Who knows if this stuff that I'm doing now is even going to be viable in the future? It always is changing. Yeah. But the one thing that you can do to hedge the numbers in your favor is not being afraid of the numbers and just making something worth watching. Because I'm not saying be a Let's Player, because quite frankly, if you are doing that nowadays, you're destined for failure. But, you know, scripted content, a good show, a good format, good editing, learning how to edit, just start doing stuff, because you ain't going to get anywhere wishing you could do this job. Because that's the thing I hear all the time. How do you do YouTube? I want to get started. What should my advice be? Well, first you should make an account, and then you should upload a video. Mm-hmm. Keep uploading videos. Keep it consistent. Normalize getting better as a creator. And if it starts paying off, if you find something that starts working, lean into that. And, you know, maybe try starting more specific with something like a niche or a fandom, and then expanding outwards. As long as it's not a video game, because all those Dead by Daylight creators are fucking stuck there. I feel bad for them. I pray that Scott John can become an Elden Ring guy again. But yeah, that's my general opinion. Make stuff. Don't be afraid to experiment. And adaptive stuff isn't working.
Right. Well, that's fantastic.
Also, you just have to accept too that sometimes you're just gonna make something that like sucks, and it's okay if it sucks. You can admit that what you made isn't that great, but by recognizing that, you can learn from why it sucks and hopefully make something better. I mean, my first video, the audio was all blown out, the music was way louder than the voiceover. I clearly fucked up on several lines. I was 14 trying to sound like I was 16. No, I mean, like, there's a lot of problems, but for some reason, people say that that narration is a core memory of theirs, and that it scared the shit out of them when they were a kid.
Right.
So who knows? Maybe something that you think is shit might be someone else's favorite video, and every video is somebody's first video.
Yeah.
No, right on, man. Like that's honestly very good advice, you know. And it's the kind of advice that you would overlook very easily. I know it's easy to get discouraged
in any context. Don't record it. Don't say it on Discord. Just don't fucking say it. It's not worth it.
I say it all the time.
Yeah, I say it all the time too.
You're allowed to.
Yeah, that's right. There should be a parentheses beside that, unless you're black.
Don't say it. Don't say it. Don't think it. Don't say it.
Probably
it's like the bye bye man. Not good for the soul, dude. It's not good for the soul.
Well,
this is a lot of fun, by the way.
Yeah, thank you so much for being a part of this, dude. Like, it's greatly appreciated.
All right. Is there anything else you want to say before?
I just wanted to say thanks again for doing this. Is there anything you want to plug before we wrap up? I mean, you got 400K subs or whatever. You don't need the plug from me, but we appreciate you being here, homie.
Yeah, we do appreciate you being here.
We okay, well, if you guys are at all interested at looking at my stuff, my name is That Creepy Reading on YouTube, Bandcamp, and Twitter. All of the music that we have for our channel, unless if specifically denoted otherwise, was created for the channel, and we do sell that on the Bandcamp for like $5 or more if you want a tip. If you guys like to check that out, I recommend looking up That Creepy Reading Empathy album on Google or wherever, or maybe in the description of this video. We got like 20 songs, and you are free to use them in your own YouTube videos, so long as you give me credit, and preferably, if you wouldn't mind, like, I'm not going to copyright strike you, but like, you know, if you buy the album, send me an email and be like, hey, I'm using this, and yeah, I'll check you out. You know, it's just sort of a vanity thing. That's all I would want to really plug, the music, because that's the one cool thing I got to put into this.
Hell yeah.
Over to like 25 original songs that, you know, I'll be watching YouTube videos, and sometimes I'll like hear my own, like, you know, the song that I had made for the channel on someone else's channel, and I'll be like, that motherfucker bought my album and didn't credit me. Son of a bitch. But I don't like it. I don't like get mad. It's just like weird. I'm like, on the album thing, I specifically have my email list. I'm like, please reach out if you're gonna use this in a YouTube video, and no one has ever done that. So whenever I hear specifically like my music, I'm like, huh. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm happy that they're using it, but I'm like, you know how much you could have made my day if you were just like, hey man, I'm gonna use your music. I would have been like, oh, people
Hell
are using
yeah.
my music? That's cool. That
So
makes
absolutely,
me happy.
we
But
will
now
put them
it's
in the
like
description.
a weird surprise hearing my own shit.
Yeah.
When I click on a random video being recommended to me.
That's funny.
Well, once again, thank you for joining us, Zuki. Of course, thank you for co-hosting with me.
Yay.
Yay. Well, thank you so much to our listeners for getting this far. And of course, peace, peace, peace. We out. Have a great rest of your day.
We out.
Bye-bye.